people who do like I'm just going to name the studios: Barry's Boot Camp, Orange Theory, F45, all these fitness studios. That's just an experience. It's just hamsters on a wheel, just moving. You walk out of the workout and everything hurts, and you're drenched in sweat. And psychologically, you think, "Oh, I'm going to look like the trainer," but no one's actually going to look like the trainer. And then when the number on the scale goes down, you're like, "Oh yeah, okay, I'm getting leaner," but you're not. You're getting skinnier.
Move over, baby boomers. It's time for Gen XYZ. It's time to stop waiting on the world to change. It's time to be the change. It's time to stop thinking about how your life can be better. It's time to start taking action, massive action to improve your life. Join Zach Winter and Marcader Rios every week as we learn how others had the grit, determination, and conviction to 10x their lives, and as we explore ways that can help you 10x your life.
All right, we are live.
Ooh, exciting.
Well, welcome everybody to the another episode of the 10X for Gen XYZ. I'm Marcader Rios.
And I'm Zach Winter. And today, as our guests, we have Miguel Novo and Stephanie. Stephanie, how do you pronounce your last name?
The real way, Luciano.
Luciano. I love it. Stephanie Luciano. Luciano. What generation are you?
I was born here, and so was my dad, but his parents were from Italy.
So you're third generation.
Yes, third.
Awesome. Awesome. And you two own Novo Body Fitness, my favorite fitness gym.
Yay.
I've been working out with you guys for a few years now, and I thought it would be fantastic to have you come on the podcast, both to talk about, your entrepreneurial experience in starting out and growing Novo Body, and also talk about, fitness and wellness and health. I thought it'd be really great. Our podcast is focused on helping people achieve growth in all areas of their lives. And so we've got a lot of entrepreneurial listeners, and I think health and wellness is tremendously important as well. So welcome.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm totally looking forward to this because I've achieved growth in other ways. And so I'm probably going to be signing up after this one.
Where were you pointing, Mark?
I was pointing at my belly. At my belly.
All right. I just want to make sure.
Growth down there.
10x. So
Miguel and Stephanie, maybe you guys can talk for a minute about your approach towards fitness. I know that you have a real kind of old school bodybuilding approach towards fitness, which can be quite a bit different than a lot of the other fitness studios that have a big cardio element to them, like a boot camp or an Orange Theory.
Yeah. I mean, so I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I've been bodybuilding naturally for 21 years. And I started when I was 13. At 13, I found a documentary called Pumping Iron with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Love it.
And
great documentary.
Bodybuilders and Franco Columbu and whatnot. And that inspired me to change my body. And I did a lot of research, and I started lifting at 16. And now I'm 37, here I am. And then with the method of the training I believe Novo Body is the truth of fitness. The fitness world is so convoluted with so much information, and it's such a great source of income for a lot of people. That like
it can get a little gimmicky.
Yeah, it can get gimmicky. It can get lost, in translation. So my goal with my training is to take old school bodybuilding, proper bodybuilding, which, proper bodybuilding incorporates full range of motion, incorporates muscle fatigue. It's very methodic. The approach to the training is strict. The approach to the body is like piece by piece. And it's honestly the only way to truly significantly sculpt the outside of your body as well as the inside.
Interesting. When I first started, when I was looking for a new place to join, I came from a mindset of you need to do a lot of cardio if you want to burn body fat. I used to do triathlon, so I kind of had that mindset of, well, you need to burn a lot of calories to burn the body fat. But Talk a little bit about the statistics and the information you have about how lifting weight actually burns body fat for an extended period of time, much longer than the actual workout.
Yeah, definitely. So essentially what most people have done for a very long time is they just eat less calories and they do excessive cardio and they lose weight on the scale. But losing weight is not necessarily the hardest thing. The challenge is to lose just body fat and to maintain your muscle. And that is an art form, you know. So when it comes to bodybuilding and lifting weights, when you're, let's say you're doing a bicep curl and you're doing 10 reps and you approach your final 2 reps and you're achieving muscle fatigue. With that muscle fatigue, you're tearing your muscle fibers, right? When you tear your muscle fibers, they have to repair. It can take up to 36 hours for those muscle fibers to repair, which essentially means you're burning calories up to 36 hours, which is why weightlifting burns more calories than anything else. And then
It's
when it
super
comes to cardio,
counterintuitive.
yeah. I mean, well, it's because it's a story that's been told for a very long time. You know,
It's also really easy to get 20 people in a room and put them on a treadmill and give them a heart pumping experience, because that's what feels like it's going to change your body, but you can look in any mirror. And
Right.
it's funny, a long time ago, we won't do this, but it's kind of fun to say, the idea we had is different stick figures of body types and the kind of exercise that is associated with those stick figures. And then like a really beautiful sculpture. And that's what Novo Body does, because
Right.
you are sculpting your body, you're rebuilding your body. It's very specific. Yes, you're going to lose weight doing running and cardio, but is it the healthiest way to do it? And then what's the end result? Like, what are you going to look like? How much fatigue is going to happen to your body? What's the damage, the long-term damage? So like he says, like, this is the truth of fitness and what we do.
yeah, because essentially what happens is, so what people do is they cut their calories, but they don't cut it in a smart way. They just say, I'm just going to eat less, right? So majority of people who train and do a lot of cardio are usually protein deficient. So if you don't get enough protein in your body and you're doing excessive cardio, your body needs protein and it's going to break down your muscle for the protein. In addition to that, when your heart rate's extremely high, so like you have a fat burning zone with your heart rate, which is ideal for just burning body fat. Once you go into an anaerobic anaerobic zone, which is essentially what athletes do, which is geared towards endurance, your body's no longer burning body fat. And it's pumping stress into the body, it's producing stress hormone cortisol, and it can also break down muscle during that training. So people who do like I'm just gonna name the studios, Barry's Bootcamp, Orange Theory, F45, all these fitness studios, that's just an experience. It's just hamsters on a wheel, just moving. You walk out of the workout and everything hurts and you're drenched in sweat. And psychologically you think, oh, I'm gonna look like the trainer, but no one's actually going to look like the trainer. And then when the number on the scale goes down, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm getting leaner, but you're not, you're getting skinnier. You're becoming skinny fat. So you're
losing muscle.
Because you're losing muscle, right? Yeah. So, muscle is something you have to nurture. Strength is something you have to nurture. And it has to be something that's repetitive and done every single week and done in a proper way. And then the recovery is really important. So a lot of people, especially here in LA, they train their faces off and then they go and they drink their faces off or they eat whatever. I remember when I used to teach at a fitness studio down the street and it had a spin class. I was like, I could talk about this all day. And it had a spin class. And in the spin class, the spin instructor's like, all you got to do is just survive. Come on, we're burning 1,000 calories. Keep going. And everybody on the back, they're like, oh, wow, this is crazy. And then, oh, my back hurts, my elbows. So fucking keep going. Come on. And then when they're done with the spin class, there was a coffee shop and a donut shop downstairs. And they go downstairs and be like, hey, did you see I burned 900 calories? I'm going to go eat some donuts and drink some coffee. And I'm only going to have 300 calories of donuts. It's going to be fine. But then they're feeding their body with carbs and sugar and, and drinking on the weekends and not getting enough protein. And they're destroying themselves. So,
I think Miguel is such a purist in all fitness, in his health, in his nutrition, in his mentality, that's what really comes through in what we do. That's why the first line in every single thing that we say is forget the gimmicks, because we don't do that. Like, I'm a health and wellness coach, and women always say to me, what's the secret? What's the diet? And there's no secret. There's no diet.
Yeah.
Calories in, calories out, healthy eating. And I think both of us come from a place of just wanting to be really pure and honest in what works, without trying to trick people and get people hooked on some fad, and and I think that's why we were talking to a client yesterday. She said, what you guys have created here is really special. It's a really special kind of place. And I can imagine that trying to expand is challenging. It's just a McDonald's of fitness,
Yeah, we essentially didn't create a business to make money. Because if we created a business to make money, we would fit as many people as possible in a room and just have the least experienced trainer hired who's just young and fun and just jumping around, cheering everyone on, while everyone is just aimlessly moving their bodies with zero connection and zero purpose. So that's why our business is challenging to scale, because the trainer has to be a real trainer. They have to know what they're doing. And the most I'll fit in a room is 20 people, because more than that, then it becomes unsafe. And safety is extremely important.
Let me just circle back can I just circle back on that real quick? So you talked about, hamsters on a wheel, and I definitely recognize that in a lot of the fitness places that I've gone to, including some of the ones that you mentioned. But so just breaking down the structure of your guys' program. So how does it work? Are there different levels where you are, you do 3 months at a certain level and then move up to a different level and work on a different schedule? Or is it an ongoing thing until you hit, an aesthetic kind of thing? Or how does it work in terms of your guys' program?
I know what you're going to say, but I have to say this
Okay,
for a second. I just got to interject. I think what we do is a journey, and I've been lifting weights since I was 16. Oddly, same thing. It's never done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can go to new levels. There's constantly something to work on. You constantly get stronger. You're like, oh, I want to add a little bit more bicep or whatever. So I love that question, because I think what happens in fitness is people go, well, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and I want results in 3 months, and then I'm going to be there.
No,
it's not there. What we do is a journey. It's a practice. It's a way of life.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's talk about the training itself. We'll break it down to answer your question. So whether you are a seasoned lifter, whether you've been lifting weights for many years and very strong and you can do a lot, or whether you've never worked out in your entire life and you have no idea how to lift and you're not that strong, both people can do the same workout at the same time. That's the beauty about bodybuilding, because the only thing that is the main concern when you're doing bodybuilding is muscle fatigue. So for example, if back to some biceps, right? If I'm doing bicep curls with 30-pound dumbbells and I get fatigued at the end of 10 reps, that's a good weight for me. If you're someone coming off the street who's never lifted before and you grab 5 pounds and you're like, oh my gosh, this 5 pounds is really challenging, and you're achieving fatigue with those 5 pounds, it's the same thing. Everyone is still achieving muscle fatigue. Everyone's still pushing themselves based off of what their body can do. And then in addition to that, which what is special about our studio is we teach very specific form that you can't find anywhere. There's as many trainers in LA as there are actors and bartenders and dancers and so far and so forth. It's you can do a multiple choice test and be certified overnight. So like old school bodybuilding doesn't exist in that realm. So we teach how to do proper squats, how to do full range of motion, how to feel it in the muscle rather than just moving weight. Because you can move weight for years and never change. If you ever go to a commercial gym, you'll see the one guy who's been there for like the last 10 years, always doing the same routine, always doing the same superset, always talking to everybody, and his body doesn't change. He's like, yeah, I'm going to get on Stairmaster for 30 minutes, and then after that, I'm going to do this, and then I do the cables, and I do that. Yeah, and I get the pump here, and the blah. It's like, there's science behind it.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. And the I guess the analogy that you gave in terms of, the levels are really personal levels, especially in regards to, what is your max point? and what's your failure point, and adding more weights in order to push to the next level, even though the exercises are the same, really kind of resonates a lot with me. That's great.
Yeah, can I add one more thing to that as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sir. Okay, so in addition to that, what people don't realize, a true bodybuilding routine is the same routine for up to 3 to 6 months. You're doing the same training, because the way the body works is the body needs the same stimulus for a while before it realizes that I need to burn body fat, or I need to build muscle, or I need to improve endurance, or whatnot. So when you're training at various places, or you're just doing a mixed match of randomness, your body doesn't know how to adjust, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So with Novo Body, what I do is I kind of trick people into doing the same thing without them realizing they're doing the same thing.
What? I've been doing the same thing?
Yeah. I create enough variety.
We're doing chest press again?
Yeah. I create enough variety so that people never get bored. And we've had clients since day one. I've been training the same clients for like 6.5 years, which is amazing. But every week, we roughly do the same kind of exercises. We just do them in a different order because it's necessary. And then I cycle the training. So like every month, every 2 months, every 3 months, I go through all the different facets of fitness because we do total fitness. So I'll work on the endurance of your heart, and then I'll work on the endurance of your muscles, which is 2 different things. I'll work on the strength, I'll work on the cardio, I'll work on this, I'll work on your mobility, your flexibility. So yeah, you gain it all by doing this training. And then when you train real bodybuilding and you go and do other types of workouts, you realize that in here, you're doing training and everything else is just exercise. Is very, very different.
Interesting.
And also, I think something that's really great, if I look back over all the years that I've been training and lifting, there's still improvement, like something called muscle maturity, muscle development, right? So
100%.
everything just starts to look better and better and better, which for a woman getting older, I think is what I like to call the fountain of youth here, because I look back and I'm like, wow, I looked pretty good in my 30s, but I look way better now because I've been lifting
a lot better.
for my whole life. And
I'm just saying.
and the muscle just keeps maturing and looking better, right? That's why I think women that lift weights above 40, that's where it's at. It's not on the bike during cardio.
No.
It's true. Let's chat for a minute about how you guys decided to transition over from what you were doing before to making the decision to start Novo Body, and how that kind of came about.
Who gets to answer this question?
I mean, you want to?
Well, and if I can just interject just real quick, and not really knowing your guys' backgrounds, but for me, and part of the reasons why we kind of started this podcast was, my story is I spent a very long time in the entertainment industry, but wanted to and needed to do things outside of that to earn an income, where I did not want to go into a restaurant. I didn't want to be a bartender. Those 2 things were like absolutely out. Obviously, real estate is the other go-to for people in the entertainment industry, especially actors. And but what I ended up doing was something different. So if there's a connection there in terms of trying to find things as well, just let us know.
Would you like to go first?
So I think, yes, I would like to go first.
Well, then go first.
I love the entertainment connection. So when I was 20, how old was I? I forgot. 23, 21, 22?
When you started?
When I started my agency.
Like 22, 23.
I think I was 22 when I started a underground rave talent booking agency. So I was booking DJs in warehouses, and then it finally went from underground techno to EDM music, and then it became like a viable business, and I sold it to an agency. And anyway, I was in the entertainment industry. I was in the entertainment industry for a long time. I was a talent agent, right? So then I meet Miguel.
I'm the talent.
And he's the talent. So he's in fitness, and he was at a fitness studio for a while and left there, started his own training method, working one-on-one with, I think, 3 or 4 clients. And he got really busy, and he had 8 to 9 private clients a day, plus this small little group that he was training. And I said to him, you know, you're going to max out. Like, you're just one person. So if you want to make it the biggest impact and you want to change as many lives as you want, as you possibly can rather, then you need to figure out how to do what you're doing that makes you so busy as a trainer in a class. That's all I said. I no longer wanted to be in nightclubs and going to Vegas and raves and at the Palladium and all that stuff. And we were going to get married, and I wanted to have another baby. So I was like, well, I certainly can't be in nightclubs and have an infant. So he was like, yeah, great, I'll turn this into a training method. And it was really that simple. We just kind of both had just said, okay, let's go for it.
And did you continue to train at other facilities while you were building out Novo Body?
I mean, do you want to go even further back? And like,
No, this is good.
no,
No, this is fine.
you sure?
Yes.
Because it all really starts with a love story, to be honest. But
It's okay.
I want to hear the love story.
All right.
I mean,
No, that is it.
that is the middle of it.
wait, was it a love story? Was Miguel in the
Yeah,
rave?
when we started the business, that's the question.
I know it started with a love story. I mean,
We
I
gotta
don't
hear the
think
love story
people
now.
need to. Okay. I mean, okay.
I was answering the business question.
Before I did fitness or whatnot, I was building sets for photo shoots, and I was doing lighting for award shows at the Beverly Hills Hilton in the International Ballroom.
Oh, right.
And then, and then, and I was sleeping on a couch at the time. That was about 10 years ago. And this beautiful, amazing woman came into my life out of nowhere. She was, the best way I could describe it is, do you know what a nightmare is? Mythological creature. When you're sleeping, it comes in, it's this black horse that's on flames. It's wild mare that just comes into your dreams to haunt you. Okay, that's what Stephanie was when I met her. I met her at 24 Hour Fitness, and she was just like walking across working out, and I was just like, this nightmare, this wild mare on fire was coming towards me. I was like, what is going on? Anywho, so so I met her. She's my muse. She inspired me to do fitness. Right.
That's awesome.
That's great.
So at that time, when I made the transition where I quit everything, I went from sleeping on a couch to working 21 days in a row to make enough money to buy a car, like a functional car, and moving into a 1-bedroom apartment, and when I did that, and I was done doing the art department and whatnot, because it's so stressful and it's really toxic environment. Stephanie one day looked at me and was like, you should do fitness, it's a no-brainer. And I was like, maybe there's
Literally
something.
in the car. I remember the exact
Yeah,
moment.
she was just like, you should
He
do
was
fitness.
dying. He was like, I'm dying. Like, I can't keep working
So-
hours. And I was like, you should do, but I didn't know what it meant. I just was like, you should do this thing, because I watched him train and we worked out at the gym together, and I was like,
See,
Right.
I never wanted to be a fitness trainer, and I absolutely despise fitness trainers, to be honest. Like, I'd be a 24-hour fitness, and there's some guy with master trainer on his shirt who needs to lose like 20 pounds, having someone do something that is going to kill them. Their client looks like a giraffe on rollerblades. And I was just like, I want nothing to do with this. But then when Stephanie, she believed in me and she said, you should do fitness, I thought to myself, you know what? Let me really think about this. I should do fitness. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it the way I would do it. And then that's how it started. And I started doing a boot camp in North Hollywood Park.
oh my God, the boot camps in the park. I forgot that
There's
stuff.
a whole journey here.
Oh, I did
The whole
forget the
journey.
boot camps in the park.
So I
That
started
was fun.
at a boot camp with a yoga mat and 2 dumbbells and a kettlebell.
And a little tiny,
And a
Stereo.
little stereo.
and all my friends.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
with friends. And then I moved it to the Sherman Oaks Van Nuys Park, and I did a deal with Groupon. And at one point in time, I was training 50 people at the park.
Right.
That's
Groupon,
so great,
crazy.
Yeah, it was insane.
And then they all brought their own little dumbbells.
And they brought their own little dumbbell. I said,
And the mat in the park.
oh, there's so many mats.
Oh my
I
God.
said, mandatory, you need to bring dumbbells and a mat. Okay, it's a long story, but I'll make it concise because I could talk for like 10 hours in Cuban. So anyhow, so I started with that, and I saw something was happening, and I was like, okay, this is magical. And then at the time, Stephanie had a neighbor across the street that used to work at a studio or used to take classes at a fitness studio down the street. I'm gonna name the studio. The studio was called Pulse Fitness Studios. Okay. I took a class
I know
at 5
Pulse.
a.m. Yeah, I took a class at 5 a.m. and I walk into that class because I was going with the neighbor to just try it out. I was like, what is this? I've never done this before. And I was blown away. I couldn't believe.
Oh, you had never been in a fitness
I've never
studio.
been in a fitness class in my life. And I couldn't believe all of these people were spending good money for the worst training I've ever seen in my life. The trainer was literally scratching his head like, yeah, let's do some curls. And yeah, let's just do some like tricep. Like he was making it up. So I met the owner because of Stephanie, because he would train at everything happened at 24-hour fitness in the Galleria. It's crazy. It's a magical place. So Stephanie introduced me to the owner of that studio. And I looked at him and, I was
that was my agent skill.
That was her agent thing.
Again.
And I was 27, 26 at the time. And I looked at the guy, I was like, hey, I'll pack your studio, give me all your classes. And he looks at me and he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. I need somebody for 6 a.m. So he gave me Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. I started with 1 or 2 people per class. I built it up to 20 people per class, 6 a.m. And then I took over the Sunday a.m. and I had 30 people. And the beauty of it was I made up my own training because it stemmed from Bears Boot Camp.
Right.
Made up my own training. I was at capacity and I was teaching people bodybuilding and I was making people walk and sprint on the treadmill instead of killing themselves. And it just, this thing just started happening. And then all of a sudden I got the rug pulled out of me and I got fired.
It happens.
I said he laughed. I was trying to keep it PC, but that's cool. That's
No.
That's
I
what really
mean,
happened.
on the real, I got fired. I got fired because everybody would say, I'm going to do what Miguel told me because Miguel told me to do this, this, and this. And I was like, well, I mean,
you were incorporating your own philosophy and you weren't following the boot camp philosophy.
That's correct. I was teaching people how to live correctly. I was telling all these women, stop grabbing 8-pound dumbbells and grab those damn 20s and 25s and stop running your muscle off on the treadmill for 30 minutes. And let's do walk and sprint, walk and sprint, walk and sprint. And everyone got stronger and leaner and firmer. And everyone thought it was crazy.
And then there were women that were like, I'm not even doing the treadmill part. I'm just going to do double weight.
Yep. And people were just doing it. I was like, fuck yeah.
And so did all of this kind of, even at that early point, were you actually formulating your
so what I did
program?
At that point in time, I told the owner of the studio, I was like, hey, how about I design a program for this training and help you open up another studio? And he was like, sure. So I started designing a program and I started training the other trainers and I started doing what I'm doing right now.
And everything you're talking about really extended back to the getting pumped Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of basis of working out. Is that true? Or did you have any other training?
Stems from old school bodybuilding. So to give a little background on my education, I graduated high school at 2.0, like barely got through high school. I mean, I'm originally from Miami and I grew up very poor. I grew up in Hialeah, which is the equivalent to Compton. And, and I would fail class on purpose so I could go to summer school because there was nothing for me to do during summer. So I graduated high school 2.0. I did a little bit of college. I studied theater in college because I thought it was fun and interesting. And I only did the theater training. Which was great. I recommend everyone do acting class, not because you want to be a famous actor, but it really teaches you about like human behavior, yourself, interacting, all that stuff. And then I ran out of money and I drove out here. But to answer your question, from like the pumping iron and whatnot, I watched the documentary, I read books, and I watched videos when like the internet first came out, and I had AOL with the dial-up, and that's it. And then I went in the gym and I trained. And I would train and train and train. And I tried every facet of training. I tried, and I still do. To this day, I'm still trying to push my genetic capabilities. But like, I did everything. I did Arnold's training first, which was the stupidest thing ever. It was like 2.5 hours of lifting. It was so much. And I don't take steroids, so, but it improved my endurance. And then, and then I did Olympic lifting. I had an Olympic lifting coach that I hired to teach me how to do Olympic lifting with clean and jerk and all that. And then I did the high reps and the low reps and the heavyweight and the supersets and the drop sets and the static holds and the individual, the isolation. So it all stems from that. And it all stems from my own personal experience and my own personal knowledge. And that's what it is. I don't have, that's what Novo Body Method is. I don't have certifications. I don't have any of that because I don't believe in any of it. I took what works and I turned it into a training method. Then I ultimately created what I would want to do myself, what I like, what I think is great. And it just so happens everyone else likes it. So yeah, so when I was at that studio doing that, and then I got the rug pulled out of me, I rented out a space called Joe's Gym, which is now Body Unlimited off Ventura and Woodman, which is a hole in the wall. It's like literally this small. And I trained 5 clients that wanted to keep training with me from Pulse for an entire year, 4 to 5 times a week in the morning at 6 in the morning, and started to design this. And I was also doing about 14, no, I was between 14 and 21 private clients. So I was literally doing about 8 to 10 hours every day, Monday through Sunday, between privates and teaching that class of 5 people and figuring this out.
It hasn't changed.
And it hasn't changed.
Yeah, so I was gonna say that hourly kind of
Still that busy.
Huh?
that time input that you're getting in, that's what you were responding to, Stephanie, right? Which was basically, dude, you know, you're not going to be able to scale up, or because you can't replicate yourself.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So it was that part of the
Impact.
decision?
Also, like, I really saw what he was doing and what he was passionate about, and there was something there, because like he said, like, the universe put us together, but that's what I've been doing my whole life. But I was the prototype, right? Because I was like, well, I want to lift like him, but I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to be like in the big box gym with all the dudes and like having to, I didn't like that environment.
Right.
And then when I saw, oh, wait, I could get results with his training, and then he's so talented, I was like,
Oh, stop.
I think there's something. And I was miserable. I was like, there was a couple nights standing backstage at shows and I'm just crying, and the music industry is rough. And so I didn't want to do that.
I went to every show with her until 3 or 4 in the morning. And then I would go at 6 a.m. and teach my class.
So you're getting like 3 hours of sleep. Wow.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it was just time to go. And it was like, well, what are we going to do?
And were you squirreling away money with this ultimate goal to open up a studio?
I mean, well,
No.
like, yeah, so
You
kind
have
of.
some cash,
I mean,
but we leveraged our house.
yeah,
Like, every
we leveraged the
gung-ho
house.
entrepreneur does.
Yeah.
Put it all on the line.
And I made some money too. I put some money into it. I mean, I went from not making much to like making like a lot in my first year training.
You're making 6 figures.
I mean, okay, right. I'm not trying to brag here,
I
but
know, but you were.
my first year of ever being a fitness trainer, I mean, before I don't know, I think I made like $20,000 before and just like play video games and fuck off and lift weights. And then my first year being a fitness trainer, I made a little over $100,000.
That's
And this was when you were renting the small location?
No, this is when I was doing boot camps, training classes at Pulse.
Yeah.
And
okay. And you were doing privates as well then?
Yeah. And then when I started doing my own little boot camp and privates, then I made a little bit over that, like I think like 120 or something. But I saved money. That's
fantastic.
Yeah, I just started putting money aside. I'm very conservative with my spending.
And so when did you guys, oh, that's sweet. When did you guys open up the first that studio, the one on Ventura?
How do we find it?
No,
when did you open it? What year was it?
6.5, so 2015.
Yeah, so we got married May 3rd, 2000 and
what? You're looking at me?
15?
No.
14.
Yeah.
I never remember this one day.
05,
There was so much that happened in
2014.
Okay.
2014.
May 3rd, we got married, 2014. We decided on our honeymoon, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
So then we came back and we drove up and down Ventura Boulevard because we had called 2 friends that had real estate companies, commercial. We were like, can you help us find a place? That wasn't working. So we just said, we'll just do it ourselves. So drove up and down, saw a sign out here, walked in, we were like, this is it. We knew it was it. Started construction in September of 2014, opened February 1st, 2015.
Zero marketing.
Like just
Balls to the wall.
yeah, we built a lot of it ourselves, like you do in the beginning, right? Like
was that scary? Were there some scary points where
terrifying, especially when we realized we had to get the city involved. Here's the thing, Miguel is very like go with the flow, trust the universe. He's asked for the universe to give him exactly what he deserves, and he's very like, it's going to happen.
This is what I say, when you go to sleep at night and you're going to pray, if you're into praying or whatnot, you don't ask, please, can I have this? You say, listen, motherfucker, you're going to give this to me. You're going to give me more.
I demand what is mine.
More. I demand
That's true.
more capacity, more people to train, more everything. You demand it.
Yep.
You demand it, you get it.
Mhm.
You ask for it nicely, it's like, whatever. No one's listening.
So
Very interesting.
that's Miguel. So he's
Yeah.
full faith, full confidence the whole time. And then I was a little nervous, honestly, because when you have like the inspectors and the, that part of the business.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Nerve wracking.
Yeah, you know, Zach.
I'm dealing with it right now with my ADU project. Believe me. Every time you get a different inspector out, they have a different set of requirements.
That's so crazy.
There was one, I won't go into all the craziness that we had to do, but there was some stuff that was challenging to get open.
Yeah.
And then I got pregnant like 4 months later, and
Boom.
then we had a baby. It was
Married.
like,
You guys don't mess around. Let's get married. Let's have a kid. Let's start a new business. All
Yeah.
at the same time.
10x, baby. 10x.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Oh,
This is, it's 10xing life. Yeah.
Yeah, I
love
love it. And then you build it up and build it up. By the time I started working out at Novo, I would have to book like over a week in advance to get into one of Miguel's classes. They were just packed. You get in, lots of times the mirrors get all steamed up, and it's not because we're all running on treadmills, we're just lifting weights, right?
so wait, 6 years later, you're still doing all the classes, or have you taught and certified any trainers to kind of help?
Yeah. So 6 years later, I mean, before COVID, we were on fire. Like all our classes, busting at the seams. All the trainers are great. So it's interesting. The method is an organic, like living being that is constantly evolving. So I'm constantly evolving it and figuring it out. To give you an example, when I first started, so where we are currently at, our space was across the courtyard where there's a nail salon. That's where we first started in the very beginning. When we first started, and I started getting like 8 or 9 or 10 people in a room, and I wrote deadlifts or I wrote front squats or whatnot. And I'm just like, how the hell are people going to lift the weight up? And what's going on? Oh my God, people are going to get hurt. What am I going to do? I just said, I turned off the music. I was like, okay, everybody stop. No one's going to lift unless you hear the word lift. And that was the beginning of Novo. And then I started breaking everything down step by step, like a drill sergeant. I was like, okay, chest up, chin up, heels on the plates, toes out, drop your ball, grab your bar, pull it up to your neck. Everybody pause. Elbows out, cross your arms, look in the mirror, smile, take a deep breath in, hold your breath, push your hips back, slowly come down. So I started figuring out how to create the method. And then in the beginning, the trainers we had in the beginning, it was baptism under fire. I didn't have a training program. I was just
2 of them are still with us, by the way, 6 years
Which
later.
two?
Wow.
Which two?
Tony and Sarah.
Tony and Sarah.
Nice.
And Sarah, yeah.
Yeah, they're both great.
My routine that I wrote literally was deadlift 3 times 10, chest press 3 times 10. Now we have an iPad and the entire routine is detailed to the T. It's the name of the exercise, deadlift. You click on it, there's a link with a video of me explaining exactly in detail how to do it. There's an entire paragraph that they could read word for word, that like they could just read it and not look at anyone and everybody would get in position correctly, and there's a whole training program that I put people through. And I'm constantly training them, constantly messaging them, constantly pushing them, which so it's evolved and it continues to evolve.
Which I think is what's so cool, because I remember thinking, as most entrepreneurs do, since I've definitely started a couple businesses with my agency and Novo, that you have to figure it all out beforehand. You literally are not going to figure it out.
Well, you're not gonna figure it out.
Like where we are now versus when we started, what Novo Body is now versus what it is now. And it just keeps growing. It's going to be something different in years.
That's a really, really, really good lesson
Yeah.
just for people who, are trying to inch their way towards entrepreneurship or starting their own business, or even like with what we do, right, in real estate, commercial real estate, where we have this underwriting process when we're looking at deals in particular. And sometimes you really have to get outside of yourself and take the leap, even if you have to back out, because you can get paralyzed. That analysis, paralysis is a real thing. You'll never get it perfect.
Yeah.
You'll never get it perfect.
Yeah.
And you got to make a leap sometime and go,
I think we were at a point in our lives where, and I don't know, I think this is how a lot of businesses start, at least for me, when I started the agency and when we started the studio, that it had to happen. There was like this moment where it was like, this has to happen and I have to do this because what I'm doing right now is not working. And I no longer want this. And so you have this level of do or die, this sense of urgency. And hopefully you're really aligned with whatever you're doing and you're really passionate about. And I think that's the fuel that you need to just get going. You have to have a sense of urgency and passion and grit. And if you have that, and you're not an idiot, and you can read and you can learn and you can get the tools and you can grow and you can develop, then you can start, a passion project of a business and eventually get it to a place. But if it's like, oh, I want this thing to be profitable and I'm going to have all these systems. Funny story. We did not have a sales process, so to speak.
Yeah, marketing,
before
sales,
COVID.
nothing.
People would come in and the training's so phenomenal that they come out of the studio, they walk up to the front desk, and they hurl their credit card and they're like, I'm going to sign up. Zach, you probably experienced this. There was not really like a sales process, so to speak, like no intake form, no follow-up text after, no check-in after your 7 days, like none of this. But we want to scale, right? So during COVID, we built out all of this, all of the sales process, all of the follow-throughs, all of the sales scripts and the studio tours and like every single thing that we have now. But I think it's so crazy that we did what we did for 5 years just on straight passion and delivering like a phenomenal service.
That's amazing.
And now we're like, okay, well, we have to duplicate this. So now we have to have all the systems and processes in place.
And was it also, just real quick, was it also because unfortunately during COVID, you might have had big chunks of time available that you're like, we can finally attend to parts of our business and work on it?
100%.
Yeah. And right after we were figuring out how to get up a total new business in 24 hours with an entire Zoom workout online the next day, Monday morning, boom, ready to go.
Anyone who didn't take COVID as an opportunity, like they wasted a beautiful opportunity. Yeah, COVID's messed up. It strained businesses. I mean, for us, it closed our business for 14 months. But like to add to all of this, like what Stephanie was saying, like for me personally, the most important thing, if you're for anyone listening, if you're going to pursue a business, whatever you want to do, you have to have a why, and a why that is so strong in your DNA, in your bones, so strong that nothing else matters, because that's what we had. I mean, like for me, like when she met me and I'm like on a couch in broke ass Cuban from Miami, and and like I had like this could be a whole nother podcast, talk about my past. And like I had a really rough upbringing. For me, like it's like I didn't give a shit. I'm like I had nothing to lose. So all I had was that why. And my first why was her. She was my why. I looked at her and I was like, okay, I gotta grow up. I gotta get a car, get an apartment. I gotta get a job. I gotta make some money. I don't even know how I paid for this thing. I don't even know. Before Novo, I was like, dude, straight up, like I don't even know how I just made it happen. And my why was so strong that when I was in line with that why, all of a sudden I had my fingers in the matrix of the universe. and I would just say, I'm gonna do that. And it started happening. And it would happen effortlessly. So if your why is insanely strong, you figure it out. All the other stuff will just happen. And then if your why is strong, you have to name your price, your value, and don't shortchange yourself. And you gotta feel it. You gotta be like, this is how much I'm worth. And then it'll come to you.
That's great.
That's it. That's all I gotta say.
So I have this quote I just want to read because I think it goes directly to Stephanie, you talking about grit, and Miguel, you talking about the importance of having a why to drive you. This is something John Rockefeller said. I do not think that there is any other quality so essential to success of any kind as the quality of perseverance. It overcomes almost everything, even nature. And I think what you guys have been talking about is grit, drive, determination, perseverance to look at COVID as an opportunity and not as an obstacle, and how you're going to use that opportunity to not only survive, but grow and expand. It's really incredible. When COVID hit, I remember when COVID hit, I mean, you guys were shut down for 14 months and you were in the midst of expanding at the time, right?
We started construction in Culver City on February 10th, 2020.
February 10th, COVID
Wow.
hits March, a month later. Yeah, brutal.
We are in. We are like
Oh, yeah.
scaffolding up, framing up, everything.
And was
And,
your landlord cool with a delayed timeline, or did you guys hit your targets?
You wanna answer that?
the landlord is I feel like
Landlord might be listening, just so you know. I'm
I
just
feel
kidding.
like the landlord works with us because of their ties with what they have, their obligations to the lender. Like,
Yeah.
I understand their business model. It would be nice if we had a little bit more leeway and a little bit more understanding. But yes, we you know, the studio was done in July of 2020, and it sat there until June
Oh,
1st of 2021
Man.
until we could open.
So double rent payments, no income.
But
Yeah.
but you guys
Brutal.
didn't. What I saw was happening in a lot of ways is people were papering over the windows and on the down low and don't turn
No.
up the radio too loud.
We couldn't open Culver City because there was no equipment to be found.
There's no fitness.
Nothing.
Yeah,
So Culver City was it's
everything that could have gone wrong has happened in Culver City, and we're still here. But like the fitness equipment that I purchased took an enormous amount of time.
like 9 months or
9
something.
months. The
Crazy.
sound system, so the sound system we currently have, so you got two types of speakers. You got passive that, you know, are connected through a wire into an amp, and then you got wireless speakers. Wireless speakers are not ideal. It was the only thing available. So I have wireless speakers in that space. It's not the best sound because the speakers I really want, I'm still waiting now. I call the guy
They're
every
in-
week. I'm like, yo, what's up? Still
They're
waiting.
in the port of Long Beach right now. They're
Yeah,
sitting on a container ship
yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, because of COVID. So yeah, so it's
I think what happened to Miguel and I in COVID, and we're almost coming full circle with it, actually. This interview with you guys is timely, but we shifted and changed a lot. It was like, okay, the next day we're doing Zooms, and you know, our trainers were on board, and we were doing, you know, 2-3 live classes a day. And then it was like, okay, he's going to go back to private training. So then we keep that going. And then it was, oh, you could do classes outside, but how are we going to do what we do outside? Like, there's no mirrors, and we're going to bring our weights out every day.
we
We're gonna
dragged our benches out every single day. Out and in.
187 times.
Mhm.
187 times every day, back and forth, back and forth. But what's so cool is the community was with it. They're like, okay, where are we going? We're doing Zooms. Great, we're doing Zooms. What are we doing now? We're working out outside. Cool, we're working out outside. Oh, we're inside for 12 days, no masks. Woo! And then, oh no, we're not. And now we're in masks. And like, I really think that we're blessed with the community that has stuck around this whole time and been okay with the freight train falling off the tracks, but like still being with us and still going. And now it's like, okay, we're almost back. Like, I think by January, it'll feel like 2019 again.
I gained two things during COVID. Two like really powerful things happened to me during COVID. You know, one was like really understanding the feeling of adding value to other people's lives. And that was something remarkable. And it's the reason why we're still here. It's the reason why we're here and our studio is like growing back to what it used to be. is because the value we add to our community and our clients comes tenfold. And then the second thing for me personally that I learned through COVID was, being a leader, because I never really assumed myself as a leader. I just was like, I'm this guy who's funny, good music, I train you, I help you lose weight. But it was challenging me and pushing me. And then I was like, okay, if I assume the responsibility of being a leader and leading people, because people really needed it during the quarantine, everybody was stressed and anxiety and whatnot. If I can keep myself at this level, then everything else, will work out, and then everyone else will come with us. So yeah, so that's what I gained from my COVID.
That's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
that's
Good for you
fantastic.
guys.
And so you have Culver City open, and now you're working on a third location, right?
Because of the state of the universe, that it's very difficult to hire.
Yeah.
Supply chain for everything is not happening.
Yeah.
We financially it's 2 years strain.
Yeah.
We get to a place where we feel like it's not a state of panic all the time. So we're gonna rebuild Encino and get it to where it was, and we're gonna really focus our hearts on Culver and build up that community, and then we'll see what we do.
That makes a lot of sense. And I love how you're also putting in these systems in place, the way you've designed the workouts so that you can train new staff, and all the workouts for all the new trainers. I mean, they're basically Miguel's workouts, right? But you're training the trainers on how to implement your workouts so it becomes scalable and repeatable. So as you grow Culver City, and probably eventually, I'd imagine you're going to add another studio and maybe eventually more. You're putting systems in place to enable you to do that. And I would imagine also your roles will start to shift as well, from being, you Miguel training full time to more of an oversight role. As you grow your business, you'll start wearing other hats.
I think, and I've never heard I listen to a lot of business podcasts and a lot of entrepreneur books and conferences, and you name it, we do it. I've never heard anyone say that scaling is harder than opening, and for us, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
It takes a lot of thought.
It is a whole thing of problems, and it's not.
You're also scaling. You're also scaling during extraordinary circumstances, no matter where we think we are in that. It's like trying to scale during, January 2010, right? Or late 20.
1 in 5 fitness studios in the country have closed.
Yep.
And about 50% of fitness studios in the country will not survive 2021.
Yes.
Those are stats.
Yeah. And your particular industry too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's a whole set of, I don't know if problems is the right word, but it's a whole set of new thought processes.
Yeah.
Because it was he and I here in the beginning, and we're very in sync. And so it's like, this needs to happen, that needs to happen. And we're just constantly doing. It's like, but now the people that we're expanding with don't live in our brain, which I thought they did. I thought, you can't just you don't understand what I'm saying to you? What?
Yeah.
We have to think about how we translate to another person in business. It's really interesting. We're liking the process because we're learning a lot and we're growing, but it's so different. I thought we just open it up and here's the training method, and here it is. Like, we built this place, like they will come. No,
right.
Not that.
I also created a really challenging form of training. There's no TV screens. Nobody's just like,
right.
Here's like, go to the next station. Oh yeah, the ropes. There's none of that. It's like, it's a challenging form of training. The trainer has to be very skilled.
They really need to know what they're doing. And because it's old school bodybuilding, you really do have to have that focus on form. So people do it right. They don't get injured, and they focus on the right muscle when they're lifting. And during COVID, I was looking, before you guys opened up, I was looking for a place to work out, and I tried I think it's called F45. I mean, I don't want to knock them, but oh my God, I go to this workout, and basically there's this trainer that turns on a video and he does nothing, and you watch some guy on a video working out and you're supposed to do what he does.
That's bananas.
It's like, why am I paying for this?
That's so not cool. That's so not
You know
cool.
what's bananas is there's 900 plus of them.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And it's something he and I struggle with, because what he's saying is, this is, I think he used the word art form.
Yes.
And it is. It's almost like teaching dance, like really intense contemporary choreography at the highest level. Like that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, multiple locations. I don't know, honestly, like what this is very special. We definitely want to do more.
We're gonna do more.
We want to do transformational events and online training and
retreats.
like more like total health and wellness, which is what a lot of people say we do here. That's why they love it so much, because it is so much physical transformation, mental transformation, like really does the full scope. But scaling it to 1,000 of these, never gonna happen.
It's because like I said in the beginning, to go all the way back to the beginning, we didn't start this business to make money. We started this business to teach the truth of fitness. And that's my
we started the business because we wanted to do something that we were passionate about. We didn't even, and that's why we didn't think about it.
Which evolved.
We're like, we can make money.
Yeah, but the method of training was always me with the mindset of, I'm going to teach the truth. I'm not going to give people BS. F45, like, my hats to them. It's amazing. They make so much money with the worst training I've ever seen in my life, with the least experienced trainer, and with so many people in a room. And it's a clear example of the fact that in this country, no one knows absolutely anything about fitness. And there's so many people that just don't know. Like, they just don't know. Like, I don't even get mad at the clients. They just don't know. You know, but that's, you fit 50, 60 people in a room, and they're looking at a TV screen. Are you kidding me? Might as well put a broomstick with a string on a treadmill.
Might as well give them a banana.
And we're like, why don't I look like the trainer? And the trainer's like, I go to the gym. I don't do a 45, you know?
Right.
Anyhow.
Well, this has been great, guys.
Yeah.
This has been really cool.
Fantastic. Been fantastic.
So, hey, I just want to ask, this is one of my closing questions that I like to ask our guests. If you were going to give a gift to a friend, as a book as a gift to one of your close friends that you think would be really helpful, which one book would it be? Could be entrepreneurial, could be health and wellness, could be bodybuilding.
I would say if it was bodybuilding, the best book anyone should ever get is Arnold Schwarzenegger's Encyclopedia.
Okay.
The best book to start. That is the basics, and actually read the whole thing. It's like 1,400 pages.
By the way, that's good advice. I'm going to look at that. By the way, I get his monthly newsletter. Are you guys getting that? Oh, he's fantastic. His newsletters are great. I think they're terrific.
He's good. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, he's really good. I would recommend that book.
Okay.
Yeah. And if anything that's like has nothing to do with like business or whatnot, I would recommend the Thrawn trilogy audiobooks, because the Star Wars Thrawn trilogy.
Oh, okay. I know you and your kids are huge Star Wars fans, right?
The audiobooks are literally like movies, like the voice acting, the music. Anyhow, that's just a side.
Awesome.
Awesome.
That's so great.
So if people want to find out more about Novo Body, what's the best way to get in touch?
Definitely our social media. We're all on there all the time. Novo Body Official. And our website, novobodyfitness.com. But we're on the Instagram, he and I, a lot, interacting, talking to people. We get messages all the time. How do I lose weight? What's the secret? Are you guys online yet? When are you going to be online? Can we stream these workouts?
And you can text our studio too.
Yeah. Or you can
text in our studio. Okay. It's like instant. Okay. You get it every single time.
Yeah.
Great. And we'll put all that stuff in the show notes on the website and everything too, so people can get in touch with you. So Yeah, this has
Well,
been fantastic. Yeah, I want to come down and try it out.
Calm down.
Oh,
Let's
you
go.
should. You should.
Now I
Get
gotta
my
look up-
Novo body.
I wanted to
Well-
tell you guys about, let's see, what is it called?
Which book?
Hold on. The one that I read during COVID that changed my life.
Oh, yeah.
The Untethered
Untethered
Soul.
Soul. Yes, that's a good
The
one.
Untethered Soul.
Okay.
Okay. We'll
Yeah,
put that in the show notes too.
Yep.
Well,
Actually,
fan-
my favorite one is the Surrender Experiment because it's really all about surrendering to what the universe is placing in front of you. And when you're not
Mhm.
trying to force something and you're really in tune, the path is there for you and you just trust. And it's just like, okay, you may not even know what you're doing, but you just trust that the decisions that you're making are laid out for you. And that's very much how he is. And I'm actually the opposite of that. But this book is like, right, why do I have to control everything? Why don't I just lead with my heart and passion and it will unfold? And I think that's why we made it through COVID.
That's beautiful. And that's the surrendering spirit
It's called the Surrender Experiment. Yeah.
experiment.
Surrender Experiment. Okay.
Very
Cool.
Yeah,
Wow,
So-
this has
Well,
been
awesome.
fantastic. Again, thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Really.
Thank you.
awesome.
It's been great.
Mark, when are you coming in?
Yeah.
Very soon.
We never let anyone off the hook. You're gonna be.
Oh, no, yeah, I'll text you. Email you.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I'm right down the road. So, well, thank you guys so much,
Thank you.
and have a fantastic holiday. Really. I really appreciate you guys joining us.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, can't wait.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
All right.
10X for Gen XYZ is hosted by Zach Winter and Mark Adair Rios, co-founders of Prosperity CRE, a commercial real estate investment firm committed to providing its investors with ongoing cash flow and building long-term wealth. If you like the podcast, please give us a positive rating and subscribe to be notified about future content. Also, if you'd like to learn more about our approach to real estate investing, you can download a free copy of our real estate investment book, Investing for Cash Flow and Long-Term Wealth, by clicking the link in the show notes below. Thank you and stay tuned for our upcoming episodes.